Chinese President Xi Jinping is in Rome, Italy, embarking on his first overseas trip this year. This is the first visit by a Chinese head of state to Italy in 10 years. And this year is also the 15th anniversary of the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two sides. Connected by the ancient Silk Road, the two civilizations have had a relationship dating back more than 2,000 years. And that bond is set to be rejuvenated as Italy is expected to join the Belt and Road Initiative, a modern version of the Silk Road proposed by China. While much of the spotlight is on the political and economic aspects of the initiative, cultural or people-to-people exchanges tend to get less attention. But there are signs that ordinary people's lives are already being touched. Joining us from Rome, Italy, is one such person, Nicholas Kovacic, a student from Rome who attends a Chinese language scientific high school. We're also pleased to be joined from Hong Kong by Donato Malo Marrone, an Italian lawyer living in China over the past decade, and in the Beijing studio by Xi Qingduo, a current affairs commentator. Gentlemen, welcome to The Point. Nicholas, let me go to you first. It's a great pleasure for us to have a young participant here to join our discussion. It's a very rare case. So tell us a bit about your background. I mean, I don't think there are many people, many families who are the same in your case, meaning sending their children to a Chinese language scientific high school. What were the reasons behind this decision for your parents, or was it your personal choice?
Basically, there are two main reasons. The first reason is that my mother, she speaks Chinese. She studied Chinese in university, and she studied in China for 1 year at Fudan University. So she is in love in China, as I am. And this is why when I was young, I started being very curious about China and asking her to take me in China with her. Mm-hmm. When I was 7 or 8, I went to China to visit Beijing and Shanghai. And then I fell in love with China, and I found this high school in Rome, which had the study of Chinese as a curricular language, and I started to study there.
Yeah. So I figured that you must compare yourself with your peers, right? The majority of Italian youth who don't go to a Chinese language high school. What do you think has become different for you in your life or in your vision for the future compared to those students?
Yeah, like choosing Chinese, choosing to study Chinese has been like probably the most important thing in my life, because it actually changed all my life and changed my view of the world and view of China and view even of my same country. And there are still not many people studying Chinese in Italy, but this number is increasing a lot. We were the first high school to put Chinese as a curricular language, so like as a normal class. Mm-hmm. And but now many high schools are doing the same. Many universities already study Chinese. And so yes, I think Chinese has already changed my life, and I hope it's going to change my future.
So I understand that you and your classmates, under the guidance of your teacher, wrote a letter to President Xi before his visit to Italy this time, and very luckily you got a reply from him with some very interesting messages. Why did you decide to do that? What did you tell him in the letter?
Mainly for two main reasons. The first reason is that we wanted to let the president know and all China know that in Italy there's such a group of people studying Chinese, of young people that every day hardly study Chinese, and every year we go to China, so we wanted to show them our love for their country. And for the second reason, we want to thank them for all the occasions that they gave us, especially for all the teachers that come to Italy to help us studying Chinese, and for all the occasions to take us in China and study there in Shanghai. Yeah. For example, I've been 6 months studying in Shanghai in my 4th year, and every year we go there 1 month to study. So it's amazing for us. Okay,
well, in his letter, President Xi said, "I hope you will become modern-day Marco Polo as cultural ambassadors between Italy and China in this new era." What does that letter, what does this message mean to you?
the whole letter, and especially this sentence, was actually really important for us, because Marco Polo for us is the symbol of what we're doing. So an important guy that wrote whatever he saw in China many years ago, and is a symbol of Italian and Chinese like union, friendship, and is what we students are trying to do every year. And I hope in the future we're going to be the new Marco Polos. I hope so.
Yeah, well, all the very best. But please stay with us. I want to go to our Italian guest in Hong Kong, Donato. Having heard the conversation, very heartening. Personally, I'm very touched by this story. What do you think, however, is the biggest obstacle at this moment standing in the way between people to people, between Chinese and Italian people, in terms of getting to know each other better, despite the spike in tourists from both sides to the other country?
Actually, I believe that we are very close people. Italian people and Chinese people share a lot of common values, so this helps a lot. We are hardworking people, curious people. We like to learn, we like to communicate, we like to get together. So this helps a lot our communication and our mutual understanding. As an obstacle, I would definitely see the language, because, you know, when you start to learn Chinese, and I'm here for like 10 years, so I speak Chinese, and everybody's asking, how is to learn Chinese? And I always say, the beginning is the toughest part, because you don't have any friend. Like, there is no even one word which is a common word between your language and the Chinese language. So the first, let's say, 200, 300 characters can be very tough to learn. Yeah. So, and you know, language is also a culture, so this can create the initial problem.
However, you have the privilege, let's say, to live in China because you want to learn Chinese. You have a very long-term engagement with China. Your parents met in China, I understand. Yeah. However, for the great majority of Italian people, who probably don't know as much, maybe are not as fascinated as you are about the Chinese culture, how much understanding do they have about Chinese culture? How much curiosity do they have? Donato.
That's a very good question, because in Italy, China is still considered a niche topic. So there is a very small minority of people who is in love with China. Like, they go to Chinese restaurants, they speak Chinese, at least they study Chinese, they visit China somehow. But for the great majority of people, China is just a very far away place. So nowadays, things are a little bit moving, and I would say, first of all, thanks to football. Because, you know, one of the two most important football teams in Italy are now owned by Chinese people, at least one of them, which is International Milan. Now the other team, AC Milan, is not Chinese anymore. But of course, this forced Italian people to learn about China, to talk about China. So that was a very good starting point.
Yeah. All right, Qingduo here in the studio, let me go to you. How do you look at the kind of challenges that we are facing when we present ourselves at the doorsteps of Italian people? Of course, there are economic considerations from both sides, right? There are also the need, the curiosity to find out about Italian culture. I understand Italy, according to tourism authorities, both from Italy and in China, Italy is the second most popular tourist destination for the Chinese tourists, and there is a great amount of Chinese students studying in Italy, 7,500 as of January this year. That's 33 times more than 15 years ago. So, Qingduo, how do you explain the kind of huge curiosity Chinese people have towards the Italian culture, and how should we approach this culture on the other side of the ancient Silk Road in a way that can be accepted by the other side?
Well, you know what, today's problem between countries often comes from, misperception or misconception. So language learning and language is culture itself. Basically, you understand the language, you understand the culture, you understand where the country is from, where the policy is from. So that's really the best way to bring the two countries, the two peoples together. And if you look at the increasing number of Chinese tourists, Chinese students studying in Italy, that's partly because of the past 40 years of reform and opening up, and because people are getting better off for the Chinese people, so they are able financially to visit Italy, to stay in Italy, and to study in Italy. I think it will produce long-term positive results.
Yeah.
And with the visit by President Xi Jinping, I think obviously the two countries will produce a lot of contracts and agreements to bring the two peoples closer. That's absolutely positive. Yeah.
I think the Chinese are very influenced by how they're perceived in the other sides, right? So if they perceive a country, a people being very friendly, then they want to just go there and find out more about it, spend more time, more money there. But on the other hand, how much does the people-to-people communication have to do with the Belt and Road Initiative? Is it separate, or does the Belt and Road also build on the foundation of people-to-people exchanges?
It's actually part of the Belt and Road Initiative. Many people see Belt and Road only as pure trade or investment or even geopolitical consideration. No, it's about 5 aspects of connectivity. For example, of course, it's a trade infrastructure, it's a financing, it's policy coordination, it's also people-to-people exchange. So under BRI, you will have more programs between China and other countries. Here, in this case, between China and Italy. Obviously, there are more young Chinese will go to Italy and counterpart coming to China, and they, in various groups under various schemes, they will we will see increasing frequency of exchanges between the two peoples there.
Yeah. So finally, let me go back to Nicola in Rome. How important do you think it is for more young people in Italy to learn Chinese, to find out about China? And before we sign off, I would also like you to say one sentence in Chinese to to us. I'm going to translate for you.
No problem. Yeah, Chinese is already really important for young people, and it's going to be way more important next years, especially after this Belt and Road project. I think the exchange between China and Italy is going to be always increasing. It's going to always be increasing, especially culturally, economically, and yeah, I hope so. I really hope that young people are going to start liking this country. This culture is an amazing culture in general. So
yeah. Would you like to say something in Chinese?
In Chinese, I can say if you want my name in Chinese, then I can explain you. Yeah. 我叫齐远航，简显字起的齐，仰方远航的远航。
Okay, so your name is. It means that you want to sail far away,
so is,
possibly
yeah,
eastward. All right. Thank you so much, Nicola Kovacic.
Yeah. Is the name that my Chinese teacher gave to me.
Yeah, it's a lovely name. Many thanks to Nicolas, a student in Rome who attends the Chinese Language Scientific High School from Hong Kong. Donato Malo Marrone, an Italian lawyer living in China and in Beijing. Xi Jinping, a current affairs commentator.